Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, thank you for checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe, comment below. Commenting below, please do that. Let me know if anything that I've talked about you can relate to. If there's topics you guys want to talk about, I definitely am interested in that. I want to give content and share experiences that matter. So definitely let me know. So today's video is going to be about where my relationship with alcohol started and kind of go down memory lane. So this is going to be fun for me. But I think it's really important to kind of talk about where it started, how I got exposed, and the psychological side of it. I'm not going to go into like this deep psychological side. Well, because this happened, I felt this, but more of like kind of putting sense to how I am an alcoholic. So if that interests you, keep watching. I probably should start with some background to my upbringing. I have really great supportive parents. I had a roof over my head. I always had anything that I needed. I had a great education. My parents moved here from Vietnam over 40 years ago. I'm first generation. Growing up, I had pretty much lived, I want to say like middle class. My mom and dad worked a lot. My dad retired earlier than my mom. And then my sisters are way older than me. So probably 7th grade and on, it was like I was an only kid. Like I was literally the only kid at home. And I went to private school from the start all the way through high school. And like I had a great education and I loved the education. The people I did meet and were friends with were great. But there was that huge socioeconomic difference that just left me unaccepted. I pretty much, no matter what I did, no matter what I got involved in at school, I was just the odd man out. And I know I'm not the only one. Like there's a few people that weren't of the wealthy class that I went to school with. And then also I'm one of, I think I had like 3 Asian people in the entire like middle school that I went to. It was very, very few people of color. To put into perspective, like the social class difference, the house I lived in growing up was a townhouse. So it had 3 connected to it behind. We got the first one, so we had a full porch and everything. But it was, the first floor was a living room, and then a dining room attached to the kitchen. Then you go up the stairs. There was, at the very top of the stairs was a small bathroom. And then to the left was my parents' bedroom. And then to the right was mine. And all you had was like maybe a 5-foot platform at the top that split our rooms. And then a basement. In comparison to my friends, their yard was probably the size of our entire house. Like my bedroom was the size of my friend's bathroom and closet. The whole first floor was the size of one of my friend's living rooms. So like, even though I was middle class and like not unfortunate at all, I was comparing my life and what I had to that, and I thought it wasn't good enough. So I never invited anybody over. I always went over to people's houses, and just like growing up culturally with my parents, it made it different. That pretty much caused a really, really big feeling of unacceptance and feeling alone, which are very general categories and topics. But how that kind of led to my alcoholism was, so I was trying to find acceptance at school. I wasn't getting it. I felt like I didn't really hang out much with people. As I progressed through school and I got through each grade, my friends became more selective and fewer. Not that anyone bullied necessarily, but I never could relate. Like they would go weekends to Martha's Vineyard, and I'm like, my family can't afford that crap. So I would try to find friends elsewhere. And I ended up making friends with people that hung out at the mall. So when I was going to school, I also did work part-time at the mall, and I started meeting people there. And I'm not saying that these people were bad people. There's bad people everywhere, like the people that hung out at the mall, people that I went to school with, like some of them, as I got into high school, definitely partook in drugs and did a lot of unhealthy things. But I got exposure because the friends that I had didn't have jobs, or their jobs weren't like anything they had to really be, on top of their game for. And so every time we hung out, there was definitely alcohol around. So, I started trying it. I started drinking. And then it got to the point that I would go on my 30-minute break from work outside the mall, give my friend like $3-4 to get a 40, so a 40 ounce of beer, and drink that in my break instead of eating lunch or dinner, and then go back to work. Clearly not in the right state of mind, probably drunk. And then it kept progressing as the years kept going. I tried new alcohol. And then by the time I got to college, I was pretty much like an expert at alcohol, like what were good mixes. Oh, my friend likes vodka, but she doesn't want the same, like vodka and cranberry. Oh, have you tried this, this, and this? Like I could literally tell you where bottles were at the liquor store, type of thing. And I didn't think anything was wrong with that. That's a problem with addiction, is when you're in it, it's just normal to you. So to me, it was just normal. Like, oh yeah, I went to the liquor store. I saw this bottle. You should try it. It's on the second shelf to the right. What? And when I finally went off to college, I kept drinking to the weekends, at least for the first year or two. But I was definitely drinking when I should have been doing schoolwork. So my first shot at college was engineering, civil engineering. I went to the big state college, which was a really great school, really great opportunity. I had really, really, don't cry, really great friends up there. But I was so drunk all the time, I couldn't be a good friend back. I made horrible choices that ruined a lot of those friendships and relationships. And I failed out of engineering. I failed out of engineering because I drank so much the first 2 years. I didn't even get the basics at year 3. I remember specifically, I walked into fluid mechanics day 1 and was like, what is on the board right now? I couldn't make sense of any of it. And people were like, oh yeah, I remember that from last year. I'm like, what? I am so screwed. So that first semester of my junior year, I failed, and I switched to economics for a semester and then decided that I was going to join the Navy. So I dropped out, joined the military, and graduated boot camp. I graduated naval boot camp during the summer of 2011 and was put on hold. So being put on hold meant after graduation, I didn't progress to wherever for my actual job training. So I stayed on the base that we had boot camp on, and I had the freedom to leave. Obviously, I was a sailor at that point. But I stayed on the base where boot camp was, so I had to be careful. Well, I was blowing a ton of money taking, taxis and trains to wherever in Illinois. So one night I decided to stay on base, and I was like, I'll just hang out today. I don't need to go out. Well, people decided to sneak back alcohol, and I'm like, okay, having a drink or two is not a big deal. Well, we were calm. We were quiet. We were just hanging out, and everything was fine. I definitely drank a lot. We drank a lot, but we went to bed and no big deal. The problem was the next day, I woke up all of a sudden completely hungover and realized my entire barracks was empty. And I'm like, oh shit. So I put on like my hoodie or something and went to the barracks across from us and was like, oh, everyone's lined up. Oh, there's like higher ups in there. and I walk on over and I sit down. Come to find, some person that we gave a cup of alcohol to also somehow got his hands on bath salts and almost died. He was rushed to the hospital and he survived, but obviously they found alcohol in his system. He had never signed out to leave, so they were like, what the heck? How did you get alcohol? And then a chain of events, everyone that drank got ratted out. I got ratted out by an individual that I poorly decided to essentially hook up with. Did not want to pursue a relationship. And I guess he was mad about it. And that's how I got ratted out. Let me pause for a second and tell you that even though I drank, I was a functioning alcoholic. So every petty officer, every chief, every senior chief on that base, okay, not every senior chief, a lot of the chiefs and senior chiefs on that base, the base that boot camp was held on, knew who I was and knew the type of work I did. I was a good sailor. I did a lot of good work. I got people to do things that they needed. Like, I had a plan. Still a little sour about this, obviously. Like 8 years later, I had changed my mindset to have a full career in the Navy. I was doing so good. Then the one poor decision to stay on base instead of leave base to drink cost me my naval career. So not even my whole family knows this, but now after watching this video, they're probably going to know. They do their questioning, trying to find out who actually was the person who brought the alcohol onto base. And I should have caught it. I shouldn't have partaken in drinking. I should have told the chief on duty that it was happening. Like, that was my responsibility. So me being the person I am was like, Chief, I was the one that brought it. They questioned everybody. They bring me back. And they said, hey, Trong, you didn't bring it. Why would you say that? And I said, Chief, because it was my responsibility to see that and report it, and I didn't. And Chief was like, that's not your responsibility. Like, you guys are in big trouble. Do you guys realize? And like, he had this whole spiel. Anyways, long story short, there was like 5 of us, I don't even remember anymore, that were being sent to mass. So at that point, they also just threw some salt in the wound. And instead of keeping us with the other sailors that graduated, they threw us into SEPs. So those were people that didn't graduate. They were separated from their divisions in boot camp to sort of legal matter, medical issues, anything that would stop them from finished training. And then they either were sent home or would go back to training, obviously with a different division. I'm like, okay. So instead of just taking away my ability to leave base, you now are doing that and putting me with people that didn't even graduate. Because then I lost all my friends at that point. I still don't know why they did that, but whatever. And then so I spent Christmas on base because I didn't have the freedom to leave anymore. I had already gotten approved for leave for Thanksgiving. So I left for Thanksgiving. Those 3-4 months, I fought my butt off to stay. Like, all of these things that I had done during boot camp, all of these things I had done when I was on hold. Like, I was part of a senior chief's, like, honors ceremony. I forgot exactly what he was being honored for, but they picked me specifically for it because they knew I wasn't a piece of shit. Like, all of this stuff, and still, just because I decided to drink on base, I got discharged from the Navy. Not dishonorable, I just got plain discharged. I'm not even a veteran. I don't even have the honor of saying that I'm a veteran. I mean, great. Yeah, the perks of being a veteran would be great. My car insurance might be less, whoop-de-doo. But like, I spent the last 8 years hiding the fact that I got kicked out and I'm technically not a veteran. Like, I didn't even put that I was in the military on my resume because I didn't want to have this conversation. All of this was because of alcohol. But what's crazy was that even after getting kicked out of the Navy, I still kept drinking. I did not think I had a problem with alcohol. So I get kicked out of the Navy. I spend like a year trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do with my life? So I end up moving down to Florida, which is why I'm here now, to be back with my parents and like hopefully finally get my shit together. Like at this point, I failed college. I failed the military. Yeah, so I moved to Florida. Anyways, I get my bachelor's degree in marketing. I get a job, really good job that I'm in now. And having been, I got sober like 2 months after getting this job. So that's like almost 4 years ago now. So in that span, I've done what I should have done like 8 years ago. I worked my butt off like I always do. And I'm finally being recognized with a position essentially tailored to me doing what I want to do. And that's because I got sober. But that's where alcohol came from. Alcohol came from completely feeling unaccepted from the incredible schools I was at. I feel like a lot of addictions stem from some degree of unacceptance and some sense of feeling alone. Humans are not designed to feel alone. It only took me being an alcoholic and then sober to realize, like, I'm who I am. Like, I'm not going to try to spend the rest of my life or the next few years trying to be cool. Like, oh, let's go hiking because it's a cool thing now. I go hiking because I like hiking. I don't have to be this cookie cutter person because society tells me to. I don't have to drink to be happy. In actuality, drinking made me miserable. I like to remind myself that things played out the way they did for a reason. The main reason was for me to know that I'm an alcoholic and to make these videos, hopefully to help somebody. I don't know. We'll see. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my story. Let me know what you guys think. We'll make it. If you're an alcoholic on your journey, we'll make it. If you have a hard time, let me know. If you know somebody that should or is on a sober journey, let me know. Like, make my life purposeful now that I have messed up every opportunity I had. No, in all seriousness, though, I am... It's hard to say this. I'm appreciative of what happened to me because now I can actually live a fulfilling life and appreciate every single person I meet, every single situation I'm put in. Like, I value life so much more now. Anyways, I'm gonna stop blabbing. Comment below, email me, let me know. Otherwise, have a great day, guys. A wonderful weekend. Be safe and check out my next video. Bye.